my dear friends and fellow artists! In this tutorial, we will draw a delicious breakfast toast with an egg, tomatoes, asparagus and a slice of avocado using the brushes from my new free brush set that I've shared recently. If you haven't downloaded the brushes yet, you can do it right now before we begin. You'll find them together with the color palette on the link in the video description. Now if you are ready, let's begin! First we need to create a new canvas. Let it be 2000 by 2500 pixels. This drawing is going to be quite easy, and I really hope you will have lots of fun with the new brushes. But if you'd like to expand your Procreate skills, get access to advanced video tutorials and support me at the same time, you can visit my Patreon page, where I have quite a lot of exclusive content. You'll find a link to it below this video. To proceed with the drawing, I think we can change the background color and get rid of white. So let's just select color number 13 from the palette and drag it on the canvas. Later we will try different backgrounds. For now this one will work. Next we'll need another layer above this one, so we can draw the yolk. There are a few yellow colors in the palette, and we need to select number 1. To apply this base color, we will be using basic round marker. It has a very nice soft texture. First we can select the size at around 12% and outline a rounded shape. Make it look more like an oval that is a little bit distorted. Let's make it big like this, but keep more space around it for more objects. Let's work more on the edges. To make it not so wobbly. And also sharp. Now that we have this shape, we can paint inside it. If we keep drawing without lifting the pencil up, the marker will get dry. So we need to lift it and start again. This is how the real markers work. Let's make a few more strokes inside it. And if you'd like to adjust the shape even more, just go ahead and use Liquify. Set it to push mode, adjust its size, but don't use distortion or momentum. Just push it to different sides. Like this. Once you are satisfied with the shape, you can deselect. And before we apply shading on this part, let's create outlines for it. We will need a new layer. Let's create it above this one. And use black color that we can pick from the color disk by double tapping at the bottom. In the set there is a special brush for the outlines. It is actually called Outlines brush. Here we can set it to around 4%. This brush is pressure sensitive, so the more you press on the pencil, the thicker line you will get. Let's start from here and try to match it with the side. We can make this line dashed a little bit and keep some spaces. Let's just go down on this side, then keep a small gap, and after that continue the line. We can draw a shorter one, and then go up. Let's draw a line like this, and then finish it on the remaining area. Something like this. If it's not matching 100% with the yellow color, you can also adjust it with Liquify. Just push it towards the side. Now it is perfect. We can start working on the shading. For that we will need another layer above the layer with the yellow color. Let's create it and then clip it to keep the textures and colors inside. As the first shading color, let's select color number 2, which is this bright orange. And in the brush set, there is a very nice textured brush. It's called Textured Round Marker. It is a little bit transparent in the middle and more opaque on the sides, so here it'll work just great. With the size set to around 32%, let's start making a stroke from the middle and go towards the edges to make them slightly darker. Just like this. We will get this nice watercolor texture. To make it pop up even more from the yellow color, let's make another stroke. Just the same way, without lifting the pencil up. Go to the sides like this. And now we can adjust it even more. First of all, we can duplicate this layer to get even more texture. Then merge these two layers. Try to go to Adjustments and use Hue Saturation Brightness option. If we make it a little bit darker and add some saturation to it, the texture will be seen even more, so we can continue working with it. First of all, we need to select Eraser, set it to Basic Round Marker, and remove this color from the sides. The size of the brush here is set to 16%, and we need to make strokes. Let's start from here, go slightly down. This way we will add some volume to the yolk. Here we can make it a bit wider at the bottom. Also go up on this side. And on top. Erase it just a little bit. Like this. Just a few more strokes over here. And now, after we erased it on this side, let's also remove the texture from the middle to reveal the highlight. Here the size can be bigger, and with low pressure we can start erasing it, making circles. Let's go down a little bit, then up again, to get this highlighted part. It can go up on the right, just like this. Let's remove more texture, so we need to lift the pencil up. Eraser works the same way as the brush. So whenever it starts working, you just need to lift the pencil up and continue. Alright, I think now it is nice. We can add another color here. Just need to create one more layer. And also clip this one. Let's grab color number 3 from the palette. And select Basic Round Marker. Set the size to around 20% and draw an arc here on the left. Let it look like a crescent. It can go down here and then a little bit up, just like this. Now we also need to erase it. So let's just switch to Eraser, maybe lower the size a little bit, and reveal the light part again, together with the previous color. Here we can match it with this edge, erase it a little bit more, and continue going down. Let's also do it at the lower side. Continue erasing it and match it here. Now we can try to do this. Duplicate the layer, go to one of them and apply Gaussian blur to add a smooth transition. I've set Gaussian blur to 7%. Now it can be deselected. Let me go to the previous layer and erase it a little bit more to get light yellow color more visible. Like this. We can also try to use Liquify to adjust it a little. Just push it to different sides. Here we can make it slightly thinner. This way. Now I like it. We can just add a couple more details. I think we can even duplicate layer number 4 to blend it more with this dark color. Now it looks even better. We can merge them. And after that go to layer number 5 again. That is on top. Select color number 4 and using basic round marker, draw a line inside this dark color, but with a small size. It can be set around 3%. Let's start drawing this way. Make a few strokes on it. Just like this. I think we can continue it a little bit to the right. And it is getting quite realistic. In the end we need to add another highlight right on top. So we can definitely merge all these layers and then create another one. Also clip it. Then select white color from the color disk and using basic round marker, draw another arc on the opposite side from the shadow. The size can be set around 17% here. Let's make a stroke like this. Then also grab a razor to adjust the shape. First of all, we need to make the edges sharp. So let's erase it this way, so it'll also look like a crescent. We can erase it from this side too. Make it even sharper. This way. Then go to Adjustments and apply Liquify tool. Let's change the size a little bit. We can stretch it, push it slightly down, like this. And here it'll go more to the right. I think we can even make it slightly wider here. Then grab a razor. It is already set to basic round marker. And we can divide it into 3 parts. Lower the brush size first. And make erasing strokes like this. Add one gap. And then another one between these two. Now we need to duplicate this layer. Go to the one underneath and set it to Add mode. It'll give this yellow glow around. We can try to adjust the opacity of both layers to get the best result. I think I like this one. So I've set the layer that is in Add mode to 66% and layer in normal mode to 38%. As the final touch, we can add some tiny splashes. So let's create a layer under these highlights and it will be clipped already. We can use two colors here. Start with color number 5. In the set there is alcohol splashes brush. Let's select it and apply it with different brush sizes. We can start from 16. Just make a couple strokes. Then switch to color number 6 and apply it more. If you like, you can lower or increase the size. Also, we can transform it. Just rotate it slightly to get the best position for the splashes. I think I like this one. So now the yolk is ready. We can merge all the layers for it, including the outlines, and create another layer underneath, so we can draw the white part. We can select white color from the disk. We just need to double tap here and switch back to basic round marker to draw the shape. Let's set the brush size to 11% and make it rather curvy. Just draw around the yolk. Let's go down a little bit. Then to the right side. And here it can have a few smaller curves. Like this. Now we need to connect these two parts. Let's adjust the edges. So they're not wobbly. So we can do it slowly, this way. These curves. And once we have the outlines, we can make the size bigger and just paint inside it. Don't forget to lift the pencil up. Otherwise it'll look transparent. Let's finish it here on top. Add a few more strokes. And after that we need to add the outlines. So let's add another layer for it, above this one, without clipping it. We just need to select black color and our outlines brush. Here we can set the size to 5 or 6%, just a little bit bigger. And start outlining. Also try to match it with the edges. You can change the pressure on the pencil. To get different thickness. Continue going around the shape. This way. Then on this side. Then work on the smaller curves. Like these two. Continue working on the upper side. And connect these lines. If you need, you can use Liquify to match it. For example, I want to push it here. Just a little. Now it is much better. We can proceed to shading. For that we need to create a layer on top of this one and clip it. Here we will use a few other brushes from the same set. For example, we can start with textured alcohol marker that is set to normal mode. It's this one. From the color palette, I will pick color number 7. Make the size bigger, like 42%, and add this yellowish spot on the sides. For example, here. I think we can make it even bigger. And press on it. Just paint this way. And make a few more strokes on some parts to darken them. We can also try to apply smudge tool here, but set it to basic round marker. Smudge it just a little bit. Work a little bit on the edges to soften them, and then switch back to brush, so we can put it on this part as well. Let me make it bigger. And apply it like this. Let's also smudge it slightly. Inside it. So we will get something like this. It's like a reflection from the yolk. That gives us the smooth yellowish color. Now after we did that, we can also put some shadows. We just need to switch back to brush and start with light gray color number 8. The size here is set to 80%, and we can add this color around the edges. For example, here. Then go to the right side with low pressure. Put it on these curves on the right. And then go down. Let's also work on this side to add some thickness to it. Let's put another spot here with the same color. I'll just make the size bigger. And draw another curve like this. Let's also smudge the tips a little bit. I'm lowering the brush size a little to be more precise. It can go a little down and even connect with the yellow color. Okay, let me switch back to brush. Make the size smaller and put some details. I think here we can switch to a darker color. That is number 9. Let me lower the brush size a little more and also lower the opacity, so we can do it gradually. Let's draw a couple lines this way. Also draw something here. Close to these curves. Then close it to the side. If we leave the pencil up and draw again, we will get a darker shade. Let's also put some details right here, like a couple lines, and darken the lower side even more. So we can just draw like this. Make a few strokes. Go a little upper maybe. Then switch to white color that we can select somewhere here. Set it to full opacity. And separate this gray color from yellow. Just draw a line with a small size. Now it'll get some thickness. To emphasize it, we can apply white color very close to the edge. Like this. And before we finish shading it, let's add some green onions on top of it. So we can create a new layer here and use a few shades of green. Let's start with this one, number 12. And here we can switch to textured alcohol chisel. Set the size to around 7% and draw a few shapes. Let's put another one here. I think I will move this one. Let me also adjust the one at the bottom. We can use distortion. Alright. Now we can select a lighter tone, like number 11. Lower the brush size. And just put a subtle highlight, like this. Now let's switch back to color number 12, but make it a little bit darker. So if you go to the color disc, we can move it a little bit down and also adjust the hue. Let's now add another shape on the right side. Like this one. And another one at the bottom, on this yellow part. To make it even darker, we can actually outline these two. Then go to hue, saturation, brightness, make it darker like this, and increase saturation. Now this is the perfect color. We can deselect it, then pick color number 12, and add highlights here too. In the corners. We can add the outlines on the same layer. Just select black color, switch to outlines, set it to 4%, and draw the lines. We don't have to connect them. Maybe even draw this way on two sides. Then do this one. Let's lower the size a little bit. Add a few more lines. And finish the last one. If you'd like to adjust some of the shapes, you first need to outline them. For example, I will scale these two, make them a little bit bigger, and move it slightly down. I want to make this one bigger as well. And now when they're ready, we can finish the shading. For that, let's go back to layer number 5. It's where we have all the colors. Now let's pick color number 8 from the palette, open the brush set, and select textured alcohol marker that is set to multiply. It's this one. We can lower the opacity to around 70% and keep the size at 100%. Start drawing here. Let's draw a bigger shape like this. And then continue making strokes to get it darker and darker, close to the edge. Let's also put the shadows under the onions, but for that we need to lower the brush size. Let's also follow the direction of the light. So the shadow needs to be located on the same side. Let's put one here. Make a few strokes like this. And to introduce another shade, we can apply color number 10. Also keep opacity low as it was, increase the size again, and start making strokes on the same place. Let's add another one to get it darker. This way. We can apply liquify tool here. I will just push it a little bit, like this, and drag it slightly down here. It needs to follow the shape of the yolk. Let's also add this color under the onions, so that green color will be reflected on the white. On this one. And the last one over here. Now let's select color number 9 to add a few more details. I will just increase opacity to 100%, adjust the size, and add a few more details here at the lower side. Another one this way. And the last one. Maybe we can darken the side a bit more. And also here. Alright. Now I think it is also ready. We can merge all the layers for the white part and then merge it with the yolk. The egg is now ready. We can create a layer under it to draw a slice of bread. This time we can start with the outlines. So let's grab black color from the disc and select Outlines brush. If we make the lines thicker, it'll look like the bread crust. So let's set it to around 10% and also press on the pencil. Create a curvy shape on top. Let's draw this way. Then draw another curve like this. and put another rounded corner on the right. That will go slightly up. Now let's go down with a thinner line and add an angle to it. This way. And after that, finish it on the left. Let's also make it a little bit curvy. Go down and connect these two lines. So we can draw another corner here. And then draw a line, connecting these two sides. Let's also make it a little bit thicker at some parts. So I will just draw more, applying more pressure. Let me draw it here. I'm making it very thick. Just like this. Now we can add some dimension to it by drawing inside. So let's start with this corner and draw a line inside. Go down a little bit. Then I will start from here and make it parallel to this line at the bottom. Let's finish this curve. This way. And now that we have the outlines, we can paint inside it. This time we need to create a layer below. Open the color palette and select color 26. It will be our base color. And to apply it, let's use basic round marker. First make the size bigger, to make bigger strokes around the egg. Lifting the pencil up and drawing again. Now we can lower the size to work on the sides. Paint the small gaps. This way. Also paint the crust at the bottom. Later we will make it darker. So it'll look like roasted. Let's go up on this side. I'll do it faster. Draw on top of the egg. And then paint this corner with a bigger size. Let's also finish this one on the right. And once it is ready, before shaded, let's add a few more products. When having breakfast, I prefer healthy food, so we can add some vegetables here. For example, a couple of tomatoes, an avocado, and asparagus. Sometimes I also add cheese, but this time we will ignore it, to save some time. So let's create a layer above the outlines for the bread. Then select black color. I'll pick it from here. And switch to outlines brush. Let's also use low amount here, like 5%. Or maybe even 4. And first draw an arc. It can go a little bit outside the bread. This way. And after that we need to add a few more shapes inside, like rounded triangles. For example, one will go here. Then one more. And the last one on the right. Something like this. Now that we have the outlines, we can proceed to coloring. And first we need to create a layer below. Then select color number 14 from the palette and apply it using basic round marker. We can just paint the entire shape inside. Go more to the right. And make sure it is opaque on the peel, so we can see it. Let's now finish it this way. Make a few more strokes, lifting the pencil up. Then I will adjust the edges here, so we can start shading. First of all, let's select color 15. And using the same brush, add highlights in the middle. We can make the size a little bit bigger, like 6%, or maybe even more. I will set it to 8. And start applying the color with very low pressure on these lines. We can make it a bit lighter at some parts, just by pressing more. But make a smooth transition to the peel. We can even try to smudge it, just a little. Then select color number 17 and also go to change the brush. Here let's use textured alcohol marker that is normal. Set the size to around 11% and draw inside these triangles. The first one, then the next one in the middle, and one more on the right. I'm first outlining and then painting. We can apply the same color once again. I'll just make the size a little bit bigger and continue painting. Let's paint this one to make it darker, and do the same with the last one, like this. Before adding details inside, let's work on the peel. Here we need to use color 16 and the same brush. The size can be also set to around 26%. And we first need to make a stroke around the upper edge. Here we can create a new layer and clip it, so the color doesn't go outside, because we are drawing close to the side. So let's make the first stroke that goes here. Make it a bit wider. And then paint again to make the side even darker. Let's first continue this way. Make one line, then lower the size a little bit, and draw another line like this. It will get the side. I think I will work a little bit more here. Just like this. And after we did this, we can add details inside these shapes. But before we start doing this, let's grab a razor, set it to basic round marker, go to the layer with the outlines, and remove these lines inside, or make them less visible. So we can make a few erasing strokes. This way it'll look much better. We can keep it at some parts only, for example at the bottom. Just like this. Now let's grab color number 18 and switch to basic round marker. Set it to a small amount so we can draw the seeds. Just as multiple ovals or circles. Let's draw a few more. Also inside this one. They can go this way, to the right. A couple bigger ones here. And also on the left. Now we can switch to color number 19. That comes next. Increase the size a little. And draw here, at the bottom of the triangles. Also between these seeds. And then here on the left as well. In the end, let's select color 17 and add thick outlines around some of the seeds. So the size can be set to like 3% or maybe even 2. And we need to draw like this. Here and there. Let's outline this big too. Another one. And then here. I think it looks quite realistic. And I like it. I will just make a couple adjustments on the seeds. For example, make this one slightly bigger. And that's it. We can only add some details like we did on the egg. For that we can apply white color. Let's grab it from the color disc. And then go to select alcohol splashes. Now we can merge all the layers. For the tomato, create another one and clip it. Let's make a few strokes with the white color. You can try different brush size. Here it is set to 19%. Maybe this is too big. I will lower it and try to draw more. Let's also add some dark splashes. Let's say with color 17. Just need to make a few more strokes. And the first one is ready. Now we just need to merge these two layers and duplicate. Let's grab this one at the bottom. Then click on the arrow and move it to the side. We can also rotate it a little bit. Let's drag it more to the left. It can also go outside the bread. I think I'll rotate it a bit more. but make sure there are no gaps between the egg and this tomato. Alright, now this is fine. Let's duplicate the first one once again. So we can put it here in the empty area. Let's first drag it down, then rotate it clockwise, and we can also scale it to make it slightly smaller. Let's put it here. This way. And we will add shadows here later, after we apply more objects. I will just use eraser to remove it from the egg, because it is a little bit transparent. We can merge all the layers for the tomatoes. And do the same here. Looks yummy. Alright. Next I think we can draw an avocado slice. So let's create another layer above the crust. And first outline it as well, using black. We need to switch to Outlines brush and draw a shape here. Let's first draw a curve with a thicker line. So the size can be set to around 5%, and we also need to consider the shape of a whole avocado. It looks like a pear. So let's draw a curve starting from here. Press a little more at some parts. And then it can go outside the bread with a curve like this. Now let's draw the other side of it, just as another arc, but make it thinner. Also add some thickness to it, like this. We can erase it from the egg. Just remove these lines. And after that we can apply the color on the layer underneath. So let's first create it. Then go to the color palette and then select color 27. We can do it using basic round marker. Let's increase the size a little bit and draw it like this. Paint the entire shape. Let's press a little more on the line to remove it. Then paint it all. Just like this. Maybe we can make it a little bit more yellowish. So we can use Hue Saturation Brightness option and try to slide a little bit to the right. Also make it lighter. It can be set to around 56%. And hue is at 52%. Now let's add another layer above this one. Clip it and select color number 20. We can apply it using the same brush on the lower side. The size can be a little bit bigger here. And I will start drawing like this. Let's make it thick and smooth. Blend it with yellow a little. Go more to the right side. This way. And then we need to switch to a darker shade. It is number 21. We can also lower the brush size a little. And draw closer to the edge. Make it go parallel. Continue going more to the right. Lift the pencil up where needed, so it goes opaque. Now when it is ready, we need to shade this part inside. Apply these two colors, number 23 and 24. Let's start with this one. Just draw between the lines. Now we can highlight it a little bit using color 22. Put it here on the right side and go a little bit up. Now we need to switch to color 24 and darken it right under the egg. Just like this. After we did this, we can try to select these two layers and use liquify to adjust this tip. I think now it looks better. Alright, let's now deselect it and add splashes using a few colors. So we need to create a layer above this one, clip it, and first select this green number 21. Also pick alcohol splashes and make a stroke. We can also apply white. Let's select it from the color disc, make another stroke, and we can also add some orange. For example, number 30. We can move the pattern. I like it this way. And then I will erase it from this side. Now it is also done. We will add some more shading later, after we draw the last object here. It is asparagus. So let's merge all the layers for the avocado slice and then create a new one above it. I think we can even put it above the tomatoes. To see what we are drawing better, I think we can now toggle the layer with the avocado and also tomatoes. Then lower the opacity of the egg. To around 67%. Now we can stay on this new layer, select black color and outlines. So we can draw one shape and later duplicate it. It will go diagonally like this, so we can actually rotate the canvas. So it goes vertical. So we only need to draw the small shapes that look like seeds. Also, we can try to make the right side a little bit thicker. Let's draw another one. Then also on this side, and they will go up. Then another one somewhere in the middle between these two. One more like this. Then here, also between these two. I'm just pressing more on the right side. I think we can put another shape this way. Then the last one on top of it. And add one more for the symmetry. Right here. Now let's draw two lines on the sides. Starting from this seed, make it slightly curvy in the beginning, and then it'll go through the egg. Let's now continue and go outside the bread. Then draw another line on the right side. Make it parallel and a little bit wider in the end. Then we just need to connect them with an arc. I will make a few adjustments. This way. Let me also check it without the bread. And I think it looks quite nice. So let me bring back all these layers. And we can apply the base color first. Let's create a layer under the outlines. Go to the color palette and select color number 25. Let's draw using basic round marker. And just paint the entire shape. Try to cover all the lines underneath. So we need to lift the pencil up for that. And make strokes. Go upper here. Lower the size to work on the tips of the shapes. Go even more up. And paint this. Let's make the size even smaller. To be more accurate. Like this. Now we can make it slightly bigger and paint the stem. We can also draw a little bit under the egg. Maybe skip some part in the middle and just paint the end of the stem here on the left side. Let's cover this line on the bread. I will remove it slightly from here. And now we can start shading it. We can do it easily. First of all, let's create a layer above. Then clip it. Use the same color, but pick a brush that is set to multiply mode, so with every stroke it'll get darker. This brush is called Textured Alcohol Marker Multiply. Let's just set it to a small amount in the size and shade all the small shapes one by one. Let's make strokes this way. Make it darker at the bottom and go a little up on the right side of each shape. Let's now paint this one. Also go up a little bit. Make it darker on the edge. And continue doing the same on the remaining shapes. Actually, I think we can do this. Let's merge these layers and then just alpha lock the layer, so the strokes will get darker right away. It'll be just faster. Let's also lower the opacity to make it gradually. Let's put a shadow here and also darken it more on this edge. Here it will be dark in the middle, and go up. Let's continue making strokes. Then work on this one on the right. The more strokes we make, the darker it'll get. So let's paint also on this one. Go up a little. Then continue on the next shape. Just like this. Let's finish these three on top. Just paint them this way. Apply a darker shadow here. Then also on this one. And to make even darker, we can grab the color somewhere here. Then lower the brush size and add a few more darker strokes right at the bottom of each shape. Also in the corners. Let's paint on this one. Then also here. Lower the size once again, set it to maximum opacity, and draw a few lines inside the shapes. Like this. Let's lower the opacity to make them lighter here on top. And after we did this, we can also apply a highlight. So let's grab color 25. Then go to the color disc and move the pick a little bit up and to the left to get a lighter tone. Now let's select the same brush and that is in normal mode and continue making strokes. We just need to lower the opacity to make the colors blended. Let's put it here, also on this side. A few more shapes. Just like this. The last one. And now with the same color, we can add reflected lights that will add volume. So let's draw at the bottom of these two shapes. Also on this one, we can make the opacity even smaller. Put it here. And on this one as well. This is what we will get. But we also need to shade the stem. So let's select color 25 again. Or maybe we can try to pick color number 20, that is already darker. And switch to multiply brush again. Let's lower the opacity to 60% and increase the size a little bit. First we can put a shadow this way, under the seeds, and continue doing this to get a darker color. Let's make it even darker, just by adding a few more strokes. Another subtle stroke this way. And we only need to finish it on the tip. Let's just paint it all first. And then start making more strokes as lines. At the bottom it needs to be even darker. Now let's set it to full opacity, lower the size, and add a few lines. Or we can actually try to do it on the layer with the outlines, using black. So let's go here, switch to Outlines brush, and just draw a few small lines. Now we can select this light tone from here, find the lightest, switch to normal brush with texture, go back to the layer number 8 that is already locked. So we can also add some dimension here. Let me also fix it on this one. It was ruined by the shadow. And then we can also paint here at the bottom. Just a little bit. In the end we can try to apply splashes here, using two colors. And starting with white. Just need to select Splashes brush, then create a layer above this one, clip it, and make a couple of strokes. Now let's also add dark green. We can select it somewhere here. And make another stroke. Also we can try to add some yellow or orange, like number 1. Just one stroke here, and another one on top. Alright. Let's now set the layer with the egg to full opacity, and bring back all the layers that we have. Let me erase the lines on the egg, so we don't see them. After that we can merge all the layers for this shape, duplicate it, go to the one underneath, rotate it, maybe make it a little bit smaller. Let's rotate it even more and drag it more down. Like this. Now let's duplicate this layer one more time. Flip it horizontal. Then also scale it. And rotate. We can even switch to freeform. First change the selection. Then make it a little bit wider. Then stretch it or make it shorter. I think it can be like this. Maybe I will just rotate it a bit more to change the angle. And now it is fine. We can just add some dimension here on the tip. The layer is locked already. We have color 25 selected. And we can apply it using basic round marker. Let's just make this part lighter like this. Then even select black color and outline it. this way. Fix it here. Then select color 25 again. And multiply textured alcohol marker. Let's lower the size. And darken it a little bit here. Not so much. Now it is also ready. All we need to do is paint the bread. And also add some more cast shadows on different objects. So we can now merge these 3 layers and go to the layer with the base color for the bread. It's number 4. Now let's create another one above it and clip. First we can apply color 27. Let's also go to the brush set to select a brush. It will be textured round marker. Let's increase the size to around 44% and start making strokes inside to add the texture. We can do it a few times. To make it more textured and also get a darker color. Let's try to smudge it to remove the sharp lines. And after that, we can paint the crust. First using color 28. Let's select textured alcohol marker in normal mode. Set the size to around 50% and make this part dark. Move to the right side and then up. Paint it all like this. Let's make a few more strokes to make the color more opaque and darker. Let's also paint at the lower side like this. A couple more. And now after we did that, let's darken it with the color number 29. But here we can change the brush. We didn't use this one yet, so it is grainy chisel marker. It is very textured. Let's increase the size to around 19% and start drawing from the right. The texture will depend on the pressure. If you make more strokes, the color will get almost opaque. But if you apply low pressure, it will look grainy. So here I won't press too much to keep the corner a little bit highlighted. Now let's lower the size and continue going down to the right with more strokes. Here it will be very dark. This corner can be highlighted a little bit. Now let's continue painting until here. Let's make it darker at the lower edge. Then we can switch to color 28 and make a few more strokes. Here it can be even lighter. So let's grab the color right from here and highlight the corner even more Keep it grainy. Like this. We can also try to put this highlight here. And it will be enough. Before we add the final texture inside the bread, let's apply a couple more colors. Start with color 30. Let's keep using the same brush and draw around the edge. Keep the texture here. Continue going down and just draw like this with low pressure, but make many strokes. Let's continue moving to the right side and draw the same way. Now let's go up and just draw around the shape. Then go down on this corner and after that select color 28. Set the size to 1% and start painting very close to the crust. Make it dark like this. Let's try to be careful here. Go more to the right. And then up. Work on this corner. Then on top of the shape. And finish the right side. If we do it with low pressure, we will get this nice grainy texture. Just like this. Finally, let's create a layer above this one. Also clip it. And select alcohol splashes. Let's start with color 23. We can try different brush sizes, like 26 or 27%, and make strokes that will go outside the shape. Just like this. Let's draw many times. Then stay on the same layer and apply color 28. Here we can try to make the size bigger or smaller. I will increase it first and continue making even more strokes. Let's now make it smaller. Continue painting. And in the end select color number 7. That is light. Make a few more strokes. Then click on the arrow and switch to distort. Let's make all sides parallel to the toast. So we can drag this corner down, also this one. Make the right side parallel, also left side, and pull it up. You can also move it around the toast to find the best position for it. I will adjust it a little bit more I think I like this one. Now we just need to erase it from the crust. Let's work at the lower edge. And now it looks like bread. Maybe we can make this shape a little bit more saturated. So I'm increasing saturation to 68%. Also, we can go to layer number 8 that is located underneath and try to play around with curves. It is set to gamma, so we can make it a little bit more yellowish. Also drag it down to make this part darker. And now I like it even better. Now we only need to add the shadows. So we can actually merge these layers for the toast and create a new one. Let's clip it and set it to multiply mode. Now we can select brown color, number 28, and also basic round marker. Let's start drawing around the avocado. Go slightly down and apply low pressure. Let's now also paint under the egg in this gap. A little bit here. Then also this way. And slightly on the left. If you like, you can also try to play around with hue, saturation and brightness, but I think I will keep it as it is. So we can merge all the layers for the toast and go to the layer with the avocado. Also create another one above it, clip it and set to multiply. Let's use the same color and just put a shadow here under the egg. Let's make a few strokes like this. Also here. And after that we can merge these two layers too. Go to the layer with the tomatoes. Let's create a layer on top of it, clip it, and also set it to multiply. We can try to grab some red color, let's say from here, and draw under the egg to add this cast shadow. Let's make a couple more strokes. Also on this one. We can match it with the previous shadow. And in hue, saturation, brightness, I will make it a little bit darker. Like this. Now these two layers can be also merged. And before we apply the shadow on the asparagus, let's adjust the highlight. I will just grab color number 25. The layer is locked already, so we can put the color using textured alcohol marker normal. Just lower the opacity. I'll set it to 41% and draw slightly here to highlight it. Let's also highlight this one and another one here. we can finally create a new layer above it. Also clip it. And grab this brown color again, together with basic round marker. Let's just put a shadow here. I forgot to set it to multiply. Now it looks much better. We just need to continue this shadow. Put it here. On these two. And the last one over here. Let's try to change the hue a little bit. Maybe find something better. I will also make it slightly darker. And now it is totally fine. I've set hue to 59% and brightness to 35%. Our illustration is absolutely ready. As I said in the beginning, we can try to apply different backgrounds. Or you can keep it like this. Let's just merge all the layers for the toast together with the egg. If we remove this bluish background, we can create another layer and just apply a paper texture. You can select any of these. They are all seamless. For example, we can try paper number 6. Just pick some dark gray, for example, color number 24 from the palette, and apply it all over the canvas. It will look like the illustration is painted with markers on the real paper. Another option is to set the background to black color. I just want to see how it will look. Actually, I think it looks very cool, but to make the drawing look more opaque, we can go ahead and duplicate it. Now there is no transparency. Let me know which background is your favorite. Let me keep the blue one. And now the drawing is complete. If you like this tutorial, I will appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon!